Hello, good morning students. Have a nice day. In the final section of the syllabus, paper second, prose and fiction, we have an important lecture on the topic editing a text. It's very relevant and important so far as the question of editing of any text, any short story or story is important. I am DR.S.R.BHARGAVA Associate Professor, Department of English. Editing a text is very important because it improves the skill of reading, of a writing of a person. So it is very important. It's the ability to change text by adding, deleting and rearranging letters, word, sentence and paragraphs. It reforms, it corrects the change text by adding, deleting. It's a proofreading, it's a rearranging letters, word, sentence and paragraphs. The mean is to say that we have to convert the sentence in the form of adding or deleting, rearranging letters, words, sentences or paragraphs. Text editing is the main operation users perform in word processors. Text editing is the main operation users perform in word processors, which typically also handle graphics and other multimedia files. In the modern technology, the editing of a text is very important because it is the main operation users perform in word processors. The text editing should be simple and the resulting web page should match the text layout in the design view as closely as possible. Tips for editing your own writing. If we want to edit our writing, a text, we have to analyze the process. Good editing can transform a mediocre piece of content into something great. It's one of the most important aspects of the writing process, but a surprising number of writers underestimate its value. Good editing can transform a mediocre piece of content into something great. If we have simple or average type of piece of writing, we have to transform it into great. The importance of self-editing. Becoming a good editor of your own work takes time and practice, but it's worth it. You all learn how to improve the structure and the style of your own writing, communicate more clearly and eliminate grammatical errors. So in the editing process, we have to add, we have to delete, we have to eliminate grammatical errors. Companies want copy that reflects well on their business, provides value to their readers and drives sales. So well edited content will also look more attractive to content buyers. So in the modern technology, modern age, the companies, the firms want copy that reflects on their business. Are you ready to become a better editor? You may not have access to a professional editor, but you can use the following tips to help you edit your own writing more effectively. Read your own writing, you do writing in a new format. We have some tips that we have to read the writing in a new format. If you type it, print it out. Alternatively, convert your Word document to PDF format or change your text to a different font. Color and size. These techniques will help you see your content from an outsider's perspective and give you a more critical eye. Take a break. In this tip, let your writing rest for a few hours or overnight. Putting a little distance between you and your work also creates an emotional distance. When you return to it, you are more likely to spot awkward phrases and obvious mistakes. Read it out aloud. After taking break, we have rest. We have to read it aloud. To discover the rhythm of your writing, read it aloud. The best writing sounds smooth, so if you find yourself stammering through poorly worded sentences, you know it needs improving. So, improvement in the reading of a text is also important. If you read it aloud, it corrects your stammering. Remove uncertain language. We have to avoid or remove needless language. Good communication sounds authoritative, so avoid wishy-washy sentences. If you use phrases like seems to be or could be a reason for, your sound indecisive and it weakens your message. Avoid repetitive phrases. Repetition is very dangerous. Try not to rely on certain words or phrases to make your point. Readers will notice when you repeat yourself. Aim for variety. Use a word technique frequency counter to find repetitive words and scan a thesaurus to find alternatives. So repetition process is very negative. Eliminate filler words. Use your word processors. Find out functionally to research for there, here and to it, and find redundant words, phrases. For example, it's fun to edit your own writing. The sentence formation weakens the forms with unnecessary words that lack focus. This is more effective. Editing your own writing is a fun. So eliminating the filler words is important. Remove weak to be words. Some weak forms of verbs are very irrelevant, so they should be removed. Using verbs of the verb to be can weaken the words that follow. Replace am, is, are, was, were, been, and being with stronger alternatives. For example, weak sentence. They were not enjoying the editing process. Strong sentence. They hated the editing process. So weak sentence should be avoided. Strong sentence should be used. Stronger sentence, the editing process repulsed them. Okay. Remove weak adjectives. Weak adjectives also spoil your writing. When describing nouns and pronouns, use more powerful adjectives and avoid the words really or very. So, weak adjectives should be avoided. It spoils your writing. When describing nouns and pronouns, use more powerful adjectives and avoid the words really. Weak sentence. He was really scared of snakes. Strong. He was terrified of snakes. Stronger. Snakes terrified him. Use grammarly to find mistakes. Use grammarly to find. The Grammarly proofreading tool looks of spelling and grammar mistakes and checks more than 250 commenced rules to find mistakes such as double negatives, run-on sentences, dangling modifiers. After you have used Grammarly a few times, you will start to see common weakness in your writing. Next, subscribe to the Chicago Manual of Style Online, the well-known writing guide to style usage and grammar is now accessible online. If you write for a living, consider paying for an annual subscription. It, it is currently £39 with advice covering $39, but with an advice covering every aspect of the mechanics of writing. You are investing in your future as a writer. Separate your idea editing task. This tip is very important. If the thought of editing your own work families terrifies you, break down the task into a series of manageable steps. In the first read through, check your ideas logically. So this tip is very important. In the first read through, check your ideas flow logically. In the next read through, look of sentence structure and so on. So there are some rules, tips which advise the students for editing a text. Editing a text makes a person perfect writer. So in the beginning we have seen that how editing of a text covers the capability or skill of a person who has an ability to change the text. He takes the help of addition, deletion, rearranging of letters, words, sentence and paragraphs. So the opening lines of the editing text are very important. Text editing is the main operation users perform in word processors. And beside this, we have some tips for editing our own writing. Because if we have an average or below the quality, we can transform that into a great quality draft. And we have to read the writing in our own new format. We have to take break because break is very important. If we continuously work, we are not performing our duty very well. So taking a break is very important. Putting a literal distance between you and your work also creates an emotional distance. So very important. Reading the text is aloud is very important because it removes the stammering habit of your poor sentence structure. Uncertain or needless language should be avoided because it creates nuisance or confusion in the text. A repetition of everything, repetition of the sentence, phrases, some words such as seems to be, very, etc. We have to eliminate the words, some words which are used in weak forms, weak sentences, but strong sentence should be used. Weak verbs to be should be avoided. They should be replaced and strong sentences should be used. Weak adjectives such as really and very should be avoided. And the grammar rules should be used for avoiding mistakes. So these are some very important tips we have read and discussed. The students, thanks for your nice cooperation and patient listening. Listening with patience that the lecture is very important and relevant for the purpose of examinations. So students, this chapter is very important for your future. Thanks.